Hi, it's Valeska. I'm with Arlington Mansfield Area YMCA. We have a half-hour yoga class for you. It is easy to have a mat and do this kind of practice, but if you don't have one, as long as you've got a steady surface to use, that's just fine. And if you have an extra blanket or a towel, that can make things a little easier on occasion as well. Just wear your stretchy, comfy clothes and you'll be set. We start with a little bit of quiet on seated. If you don't like to be seated cross-legged, because for some people that's not very comfortable, you can lie down, you can extend your legs, you can put a little block. I have an extra block here, so sometimes people have yoga blocks and sitting on it can make things a little easier, or just use your blanket. We're going to try to quiet the mind, so having a nice, comfortable, tall posture is a good thing. Think about rooting the tailbone down and lifting the crown of the head up. It's this dynamic of tension below and lift on top, and try to relax in between. If you're comfortable closing the eyes, do so, or just let the gaze go soft as the eyes stay open. Think about beautiful posture. Crown of the head lifting, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, away from the ears, broadening across the chest, letting the tailbone root down. Let the legs just soften toward the floor with the weight of gravity. Now focus on your breath. If you can, breathe in and out through the nose. And each time you breathe in, think about breathing in a little bit more deeply. And as you exhale, breathe out a little bit more fully, so that eventually we're breathing and we're using our full lung capacity. We tend to breathe shallowly, just in the heart area. We want to breathe all the way down to the base of the lungs. Maybe you'll feel your belly lift. And as you exhale, maybe bring that belly in slightly. Help squeeze all the air back out again. Now as we breathe deeply, and we exhale fully, you can work on making a nice, even, balanced breath. So think about taking a number, maybe the count of 4. And as you breathe into the count of 4, see if you can exhale to the same number. Let your inhale still be that nice, deep inhalation. Let your exhale be at least as long as that which you just breathed in. Let's take a few more rounds of this balanced breath. And one more round. And then just let the breathing return to its normal pattern. Take another tall breath in. And as you exhale, just let the chin move toward the chest. Draw your chin back a little bit and slide your shoulders down so you feel the back of the neck stretch a bit. And then just roll left ear toward left shoulder and slide the shoulders down. You might feel a long stretch on that right side of the neck. You could even take your right hand and reach it out a bit further. And then release, lift the head, and exhale down. Roll your chin to the other side, ear, and maybe reach out with your left hand to the side. And release the hand in, and bring your head back up to level. Let's take the shoulders up, just squeeze them like you're doing a hunch, and then exhale, drop them. Breathing in and exhale. Breathing in and exhale. Breathe in and exhale. Nice. Let's take our left arm up. Get a long stretch to the side. Roll your upper shoulder back. Exhale, take it down. Maybe take it to the side. And inhale the other arm up. Roll the shoulder back. And then exhale back out. Let's make that into a little bit of a flow. Inhale to the right. Exhale, come back up. Inhale to the left. and exhale. And inhale and stretch. Roll the shoulder back, maybe a little deeper. You could bend that elbow, coming back up, off to the side. Maybe bend the elbow, come back up. Let's extend the legs. Just roll and tap. And then just slide your left knee in so that your right leg is extended. You can hold on to your left knee, inhale tall, exhale, turn to your left option. Take your left hand behind you. Bring the belly in, lift the crown of the head, and return to center. Slide that foot out and take your other knee in. Hold on with your left hand, tall spine. Option, you can turn to your right, or maybe take your right hand behind you, tall spine, look over to the side. And inhale, back up. Take your feet both out and just drop them side to side, windshield wiper. And we're going to move from here into table. So we will come hands and knees on our mat or on the floor, depending on what you have. And if you don't have padding, you might want to find something for your knees. If you do have a mat and you need extra padding, you can take your mat and fold it extra so that your knees have extra cushion. So from table, hands are on the floor, fingers are widespread. You might press your knuckles into the floor. Feel like you're lifting out of the palm of your hand and drawing into your shoulder. Use your belly muscles. Try to have your knees under your hips. This is a supported table, okay? So we're not sinking into our hands and letting ourselves meet with gravity toward the floor. Resist, and really that will help you work some of your core strength. If this gets uncomfortable for your wrists, you can come to fists. You can come to forearms, which lowers you down a little bit, and that's where if you have a block, you can rest your forearms on the block and be still up a little bit. So you have options. We're going to take your one foot out and just press the heel away. Get a long stretch the back of the leg. And release and switch to the other side. And come back to center. So one way of doing this in our spinal balance is you can take one foot back. So let's say you've just taken your right foot back. You can take your left arm forward and keep the toe on the floor. Or option, take your heel up. Long lift here with the heel reaching away and the toes down, belly in. And then again, trying not to sink into that hand on the floor. Lift out of the hand. This is a good balance work. We're using opposite hand and leg. Think about extending through that crown, you could have the crown of the head extend, the fingers as well in that direction, and the heel behind you. Heel is up, toe is down, maybe at hip height, or again, foot to the floor. Now let's take the hand down and the knee down. Other side. So if you have your left leg back, you might take your right hand forward and be just fine here for a balance. If you need more, lift your heel. So if you feel a little bit bouncy, a little trouble, you could always take a hand to the floor as well. Bring the belly in, lift that heel, really extend through the heel. You can keep your gaze down to avoid any pressure on the neck, and that reach and extension through the other hand. Take a few breaths. Think about lifting out of the hand on the floor, then hand to floor, knee to floor. You can either sit back, or if that's not comfortable, come to kneeling and release the wrists. And shake them out, whatever helps you release tension. So from here, we'll do another table variation. Going to take, I'll take my left knee and bring it up toward the shoulder. Okay, this is like hydrant. You can extend the leg, then turn the toe down, and bring the leg straight behind you so that the heel is up, the toe is down, but continue taking it off to the side, and then see if you can look over your back shoulder and see your back heel. So if you are using your left leg to go around, you're going to look over your right shoulder and get a little bit of a twist. If you don't see it, that's okay, it is back there. Just working on lifting to look over the shoulder. Take the heel back behind you and place the knee on the floor. So the other side. Going to bring knee up towards shoulder, extend the leg out, turn the toe down, bring the heel straight behind you, so a little bit like our spinal balance, but we have both hands on the floor. Now continue, maybe taking that leg off to the side. Maybe you can look over your shoulder and see the heel. Gets a bit work into the spine there. Maybe feel it in your sides a little bit, or maybe in your hips. Take the leg back, knee down. Release, either sit back or kneel. You might take your wrists and place the fingers down, and maybe just gently place the backs of the hands together. Perhaps let the elbows lower just a bit. So this has helped counter some of that flexing of the wrist. And then release, just roll in and roll out, and roll in and roll out. Good, shake them out. Let's take the hands to the floor, and now take your, you're looking at knee, this would be your left leg. Leg comes out to the side of your knee, and your knee and your ankle may be in about the same line. Option, if you have a block, you can take it off to your right. From here, see if the hands can come to the hip. Now I've got knee and hip and shoulders nice and tall. Got lovely posture, it's just that I've changed the lower half here. Going to take my left hand, as you're looking at it, to the left leg. Trying to keep the shoulders facing forward. Maybe inhale, the right arm up, and reach toward the left leg. If that doesn't feel good on your shoulder, drop the hand or put it behind you. Just keep rolling back and think about extending up this whole side, okay? If you're good with having the hand over the ear, you just reach. You could even let it rest a little bit against the head. We're getting into that nice long side body. Take another breath. And then as you come up, inhale, lift the hand and let it help pull you up. Now we're going to go to the other side. If reaching down is a little hard and you have that block, you can support yourself on the block, coming up to different heights, or you can take your hand to the floor about level with your knee. If you need to adjust your distance, that's fine. Try to roll that upper shoulder back. Option, you can come into a nice T, okay? Think about lifting the ribs up to the ceiling. Reach and extend. Gets a nice stretch there into some of the obliques and intercostals between the ribs. If you like, take the hand over the ear. Now, long stretch here. Try not to sink too much into, I come onto my fingers to remind myself like a spider finger here, just not to sink as much into the hand, and that really makes me use more of my core. So belly muscle, back muscle, down into the hips. Now if I want to play with my balance, I can start shifting my weight a little bit forward toward my hand and lift the foot on the floor out. And by flexing the foot and pushing that heel away and reaching the opposite, I've got a wonderful balance pose, also a strength pose here. So take a few breaths. Anytime you need to put a foot down, feel free. You can always get benefit at any point along the process here. Another breath, foot comes down, hand comes up. Now I'm going to try to use my core, help me lift me up. Good. Hand down, hands to floor, and bring the knee in. So relax anything that feels a little tight. I'm going to do the other side. So you're ahead of the game because you've just seen the other side. Hands to the floor. Going to take now what would be your right foot out to the side. I'm going to move a little bit more towards center here. So my foot and my knee are about in the same line. And I'm going to take hands to hips and see how steady I feel. Now to get this stretch coming down to the right side, I'm going to take the right hand toward the right leg, try to roll my left shoulder back. Again, arm can either come up or it can stay lower, and reach to the right. Roll that upper shoulder back, long stretch, obliques, into the ribs, maybe into the shoulder. Take a few breaths. If the breath ever gets to be kind of jagged and sharp, you know that maybe you've gone a little bit too far into your pose, so back out a little bit. You want to finish your class feeling better than when you started. Going to inhale our way up. Now to the other side. Hand again can come toward a block, different heights option, or toward the floor. So hand will be under the shoulder. I'm going to roll the upper shoulder back. I can reach up. I can reach over my head, getting that long stretch again, trying to lift out of the hand so I'm not really letting myself settle into the hand that is on the floor. If I want to incorporate that balance aspect of it, I'm gonna have to shift my weight a little bit, maybe come to the toe, and then reach out with the heel, really extend through that foot, extend through my reach of my arm, breathe, lift. Lots of good core work happening here. Good balance work. Keep the breath flowing. Try not to hold your breath at any point in yoga. And then set the foot down. Let the upper hand help pull you up. Good core stuff happening. Hands to floor. And knee to floor. Good. Come to kneeling. Release anything that's tight. Maybe the shoulders. It might feel good to do some hip circles. So you could come to hands and knees and just let the hips go in a big circle around to the side, forward to the other side and back. You can put as much movement into this as you like. And then always reverse, so go the other way as well. That balance aspect of getting both sides. Generally, our bodies like one direction better than another, or one side feels stronger or more flexible, and that is certainly natural. Bodies come in different shapes and sizes, and we are not perfectly symmetrical. So from here, we're going to come up toward standing. So if you like to try to practice this without using your hands on the floor, if you feel tippy or balance is iffy, then come up whichever way works for you. Otherwise, if you can do it without the hands, come toward that kneeling position. See if you can shift your weight to one side and bring a foot forward. Tuck the back toes under, press into the floor, use your belly muscles, and lift tall and step out. I'm going to clear my space. And then coming toward Tadasana. This is our perfect posture, our mountain pose. So in Tadasana, you can stand with feet either together or maybe up to hip width apart. Let the toes kind of expand. And this is where, if you're not wearing shoes, it's much easier to practice yoga and really work on the feet, being able to grip the floor. And you can strengthen your legs and your feet, your ankles. When we wear sneakers, it tends to offer more support and our feet don't have to work as hard. Think about rolling the shoulders back. Crown of the head is lifting. That slight bringing in of the belly. So we have stacked knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips, and ears over shoulders. Roll those shoulders back. Just relax the hands beside you. Crown of the head is lifted. Chin is level to the floor. This is the pose that if you could practice it, whenever you stand in line, whenever you are having nothing to do, and you have opportunity just to bring in this balance work, it will become more customary, and you will have this lovely posture that people will say, wow, that person must practice yoga because they have beautiful posture, and it'll help you feel better. Let's take a long inhale, and maybe reach up. This is reed. Let's push our hips to the left and let ourselves just curve to the right. It's like that reed in the wind. Inhale back up, push the hips to the other side, and off to the left. Let's do that again, coming back to center. Let the hips move first. Keep the shoulders stacked. Back up tall. Hips to the other side, and back up. Exhale, hands down. From here, we're just going to bend the knees and come into something called chair pose. So as you exhale, things might crick and crack, that's okay. We're going to still be able to see the toes, but we're pushing our hips back and our chest forward. Let me show you from the side. So that I'm not reaching over here. I'm still lifting forward here with my chest. It's like you're just kind of reaching back, trying to find the chair behind you. And knees are straight over our toes. Hands can be at the chest. They could be reaching out in front of you, or if you need more work, you can elevate. Anytime you raise the hands, the arms, you add more work. And exhale and sink. If you are tempted, try not to sink lower than your knees. So we want the hips a little higher than knee height. Take a couple breaths. Exhale, press the feet into the floor and lengthen tall. And shake it out. So we'll do essentially the same thing, but start adding a few little options. We're going to inhale and exhale into chair. Again, hands can be at heart. See if you can shift your weight into your right leg and come to the toe of the left. Option, lift the toe off the floor. So I'm using core strength as well as leg strength, okay? Have your eyes on something that doesn't move. That can help with balance. Even if the foot does not come off the floor and you feel like you're wobbling, the wobble is going to help you. It's going to help make you stronger. Just try to avoid falling. Take that foot down, lengthen, and release. We'll go back into our chair, exhale. This time, shift your weight into the left side. Now we're keeping our hips level, and you can bend further that right knee, maybe come to the toe, maybe lift the knee, okay? Again, good balance work. Much more involved in some of these poses than it looks like. It's a really nice overall body practice, and it's really good for mental discipline as well. Take the foot down, sink into your chair, inhale, rise, gather some air, exhale, hands to heart, and maybe just hinge. I'll show you from the side. Push your hips back and let your chest come forward a bit. You can keep the knees bent if you need. Take a breath. And press into your feet and come nice and tall. From the front of your mat, we're going to take one foot back. So let's say your right leg, you're just going to step it straight back. And we're going to line up the heels. If you have a block, you could put it in front of you. Okay. And with legs long first, we have your left foot pointing straight forward and your back foot pointing somewhat out to the side and forward, depends how it feels on your hips. You can open up the arms to either side. Okay, so we're working toward triangle. From here, feel like you're reaching across a counter. I kind of envision there's a plate of cookies just out of reach, and I'm trying to reach across the table. But at some point, you've finally reached as far as you can, which might be somewhere over your foot or beyond. Let the hand come over toward the leg, wherever it rests. And your other hand can either rest on the hip, pulling the shoulder back. It can come up toward the sky, or you can take it over the ear. If you want to play with your balance, bend your front knee. Take your hand toward a block, or you could use a chair in front of you too here. And just shift your weight a bit so that now you've got more weight on your left leg and a lot less on your back. You could take your arm up for balance, okay? Maybe tip it up a little closer and just take it off the floor a bit, okay? This is a version of half moon standing, really working on balance. If you don't need to have your hand on the floor, you can do this without. Or some people like to take hand all the way to the floor and just lengthen the leg and pull the shoulder back. So this is maybe more than you want to do. That's fine. You could have your foot on the floor and just lengthen this way, okay? And just tip a little bit more forward. Once you've got your leg back on the floor, press the feet into the floor, engage the belly, come tall. Gonna step forward, shake it out. So, tipping, not looking beautiful in your yoga practice is really okay. This is your practice for you to work on your wellness, your balance, and it makes you stronger every time you learn a little something that you need to work on. Start with a nice tall balance, take a breath, step back with your left leg, line up your heels. Front leg is pointing to the front of your mat if you have one. Arms open to either side. Open the chest. From here, I'm going to reach across that counter or table and drop the hand. Option, this nice T version with the arms or hand over the ear. If you would like to play, a little bit more balance, and call it play, because then if you tip, it's just play, right? Option, maybe a block or a chair. Take a little bit more, whoops, balance is playing with me. A little bit more weight here into that standing leg. Maybe start to lift it off the floor. You could extend, lift your heel, trying to keep that upper shoulder stacked. Leg is working super hard here because it's taking the work of both legs. Foot down at any time. Work your way back into that, maybe a warrior two. Finish beautifully and it's all good. Turn to the front, step out, inhale, and exhale, fold, maybe come halfway down. You can rest your shoulders, relax them, let the tailbone lift. Take a breath. Bend the knees, hands to the floor, knees to the floor. Let's take the legs around. And from here, just bend a knee. You can take it across the leg if you like to the other side, or keep it to the inside of your right leg. Wrap the opposite hand or arm around the knee, pull it in. So if your left knee is up, your right arm's gonna wrap. Tall spine, either or turn and look behind. Remember, keep that tall spine, crown of the head reaching up. Come back to center. Unwind. Tap. Bend right knee. Keep it here or move it out. You can wrap the arm around. Nice tall posture. Or add the twist. Crown of the head lifting up. And inhale to center. Let's take the legs out. Just roll or tap. Let's come into either what we call easy pose. If that's not easy for you, you can move your legs to some other version. Let's do a few circles. Make sure the hips feel good. So the nice thing about yoga is that it is process and not end product. There is no grading system, no points deducted for wobbles. Things can always be modified, either made more challenging or a little less, depending on what you need on a particular day. Let's make sure our circles go in the other direction. And last one. Let's finish with just a little bit of time to absorb the benefits of our practice. You can be in seated here or legs long. Relax the shoulders. Again, crown of the head is up, tailbone is down. Let's focus on the breath. Maybe close the eyes. And envision breathing in wellness. So as you breathe in and you open up your lungs and you invite fresh oxygen and energy into the body and the mind, exhale, clear the mind, the heart, anything that stresses the body, stresses the mind. Each time you breathe in, envision letting go of something that weighs on you. Feel yourself lighten. Feel yourself well. Envision that body and mind and heart healthy and at ease. Take a few more slow breaths. Let's take a nice breath, breathing in deeply, reach tall, and envision taking some grace to mind, heart, and body. We close our practice with a phrase that means the light in me honors that light in each of you, which unites us all. The word we say is namaste. Namaste. Stay well. Practice yoga. Thank you.